Oh yeah, about to get my cinema stash rehash on.
Let's go!
What?
Oh, yeah.
Podcasting from Chico, California, and home of the world's largest functional yo-yo. They are Cinema Stash Rehash. Join them as they talk movies, make fun of them, and discover how they fuel your everyday life paranoia. Let me welcome you to...
And welcome to the first episode of Cinema Stash Rehash.
What's up?
And tonight's episode is going to be on Animal House. It's one of the most influential movies that I've probably ever seen in my life, compared to, partying and just, getting it on. My name is Jason McLendon.
And I'm Wyatt Campbell.
Yo, I'm Chris Matson.
And actually, I think before we really get into this episode, I think we should maybe play a game.
Games are fun.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm down for a game.
Yeah.
But what's it going to be?
Inspired by the popular mobile app, it's Do This or That. And welcome everybody to Do This or That, a silly question game where I'm going to ask questions and you have to decide to do either this or that. Let's meet our contestants.
Sean Connery.
It's Chris.
Emperor Palpatine. I use the dark side of the Force.
I like the dark side of your ass.
Bite me, Connery.
Fantastic. Are we ready to play? First question.
Ram your fist up your ass every morning, or have one finger up your nose at all times.
Who doesn't ram their fist up their ass every morning?
I'm going nose.
Well, I ram my fist up my ass every day. I mean, shit. Can't you tell?
You're a poser. You're a poser, Palpatine. You know nothing about fisting in the morning.
Why do you think I walk with a cane? Or my hands in the air, for that matter.
Touche.
I'm recovering from that morning's jamming.
What's up there, didn't you?
Next question. That's right, Palpatine took control. Fuck you, Jason. Palpatine's on board.
Maybe is Jason answering? What?
No. Now, from now on, shut up, Palpatine. Fuck you. Okay.
Okay, next question.
Fart, popcorn, or sneeze milk?
I'm gonna say
People don't already?
you can't answer. Sean Connery only says that.
Sean Connery, you're speechless, I see. You should have your hand down your pants.
Farting popcorn sounds fun. I'll take that.
And last question.
Have explosive diarrhea every day for the rest of your life, or eat a bowl of poop once.
Alright, let me take this one first. Okay, Sean Connery, take this one first.
How big is a bowl of poop? Are we talking salad bowl? Are we talking
It's a cereal bowl.
cereal?
A full cereal bowl.
Are we
of
talking
poop.
Palpatine cereal bowl? Are we talking...
Well, no, Palpatine. Fuck you, bitch. It's wheat bran.
Oh, then I'm gonna have to take the bowl of poop.
Yeah, I think I'd rather eat shit than have explosive diarrhea for the rest of my life.
One and done kind of thing.
All right, and that was fun. Thanks for playing. You guys have won nothing. We'll see you next time on Do This or That.
All right, that was fun. And so anyway, we'll take a quick little piss break, and we'll come right back for Animal House.
Animal House.
So.
Greg, what is the worst fraternity on this campus?
Well, that would be hard to say, sir.
Who dumped a whole truckload of fizzies into the swim meet? Who delivered the medical school cadavers to the alumni dinner? Every Halloween, the trees are filled with underwear. Every spring, the toilets explode.
You're talking about Delta, sir.
Of course I'm talking about Delta, you twerp!
So this movie, let's be honest, this movie pretty much inspires not only just every party movie that's pretty much been out for that, but it inspires all parties.
Yeah.
You know, it inspires all parties. It relates
As far
to,
as we know it.
Well, you know, I mean, you want to have a Targa party. A toga. I said
A Targa.
A Targa party.
Toga.
I meant toga party. You
Yeah.
want to have a toga party because of this movie, but it's like you're hoping that when you have the toga party that everybody else will show up with togas, but nobody probably will.
Or will they?
Hey, bitchin' party.
Thanks.
It's no toga party, though. Fucker.
I need another drink.
Yeah, have you guys ever been to a toga party?
No. Exactly.
I've never really been to many themed parties. Question:
I've been to
was
a
anybody
couple.
in a frat?
No.
I was gonna ask that. I mean, I was
that was
born.
my- that was
I
gonna
was
be
born
one
and
too.
raised here in Chico, and we know the college is here. But when you're born here, you don't have the
No.
college experience per se.
You know, I know actually Wyatt, you and I have been to a few frat parties.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's for some reason it's like, you know, I never had the call to want to be in a frat or a fraternity.
Well, what's the
or-
point when you have like a local crew? You know, frats are for people who move away to college and they have no friends.
Pretty much.
I mean, or you're like a kind of like in this movie, a legacy or whatever, where your folks went there and you could easily get in because of your
Flounder.
Yeah, Flounder.
Flounder.
A la Flounder.
Ah, you will be known as Flounder.
I've never seen a bad frat experience though. Is there? I mean,
Have you heard
of any-
I've heard, yeah, sure, like people, you know, dying from alcohol poisoning or whatever, you know, but
yeah,
but
that would be pretty bad.
Yeah.
But just like you know,
Well, as far as it's Kevin Bacon's first role.
yeah,
First role to see Kevin Bacon, and we all know the 6 to 9 to 25,000 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
This was his first role.
yeah, who knew?
No, I mean it was great to watch him because you got fucking such a baby face.
He does.
I mean,
yeah, and then once you realize it's Kevin Bacon, it's like, you know, it's the least looking like Kevin Bacon you've ever seen Kevin Bacon look like Kevin Bacon.
you're like, is that Kevin Bacon? I think that's Kevin Bacon.
Maybe Hollow Man.
Yeah,
He didn't look.
yeah,
All
he
right.
was
All right.
yeah, it's hard to see in that one.
But this movie was was just so many great lines and just a quick,
Yeah, it's a series of one-liners. You know,
it really was.
the plot is actually I like the thing I like about this movie is that like the plot is basically like you could write it in like 4 words. You know, it's just like Dean Wormer has an unhealthy obsession with the Deltas and like how they behave.
Oh yeah.
And he's made it his life mission, and his meat puppet, who he literally has his hand up the ass, Greg,
Oh god.
to like put the Deltas out of business, you know. And it's funny because like I think that part is funny, that Dean Wormer is that obsessed with like their mischief, you know, or
Oh, yeah.
whatever, and to the point where it's like the crazy construct of the universe throws his wife Otter's way, and Otter ends
dude.
up, you know,
Being
sacking his
Otter.
wife.
And
Yeah.
let's be honest, Otter is basically the modern day Quagmire.
Otter is that douchebag that in this movie you pull for, but if he was in like the other side of the fence, you'd hate that guy.
Oh,
He-
he deserved to get his ass beat. I mean, absolutely.
yeah.
After watching that movie, I was thinking, he's pretty much a 70s virgin.
He is not a virgin, Chris.
After watching this movie, you think after he's 79 in 79, he's pretty much the nowadays version of Ryan Reynolds. And so when you go back and watch Van Wilder today, it's kind of an interesting contrast to that
Yeah.
movie. I want to thank you I have never seen Animal House before I went and purchased it at Best Buy. Thanks, Best Buy. And it was I hadn't seen it. It was good. I liked it. It wasn't. I think maybe I wanted to like it more than I did. Seeing all the posters and all the Jim Belushi stuff, that I was really wanting to like it, and I felt kind of like I've seen this before, but that's not really fair because that was the first time it was done. So it was kind of like a weird, bypass for me. I really liked it. I enjoyed it. Thank you for making me watch it. I would say
it's a classic.
It's an influential film. Really, overall, it's just something that it. You know,
Well,
if
the
you didn't
names.
grow up,
The names.
There was a lot of names in it.
I mean, you got like the director John Landis. The writers included Harold Ramis,
Yes.
who in fact wanted to play the role of Boone.
Yes.
Who was like, the number 2 in the frat next
But
to
he was
Otter.
considered too young.
He was
Or
considered
old.
too
I mean,
old.
that's what I meant to say.
Yeah,
Yes.
so that would have been interesting if he played him. But yeah, you can go down the list and all these notable actors. Donald Sutherland is in it, and so on. John Belushi, obviously, but
Donald Sutherland actually had one of my favorite parts in the movie, which was when they were all sitting in his house and he goes, does anybody want to smoke some pot? And it was just so hilarious because, like, sometimes you put yourself in that position, especially when you first start smoking weed, and you're like, I gotta lock everything and close the blinds.
It was a different time though.
Oh yeah,
It was
it
a
was
different time
1962.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you might want to actually lock your doors. I mean, it made sense then.
It was a big deal. I mean,
Yeah.
it's been a big deal for a long time, but it was just one of those. It's like, and I can't remember the guy's name now all of a sudden, but he's like, "Oh my God, you're blowing! Can I buy some pot from you?"
Oh yeah, Pinto.
Pinto. Yes,
Yeah.
that's exactly.
That's a great scene because it's like he's like, so wait, you're telling me that we could
Yeah, it was good.
be like a speck of dust on the fingernail of a big being?
Could be another universe.
Donald Sutherland was perfect. That was good.
And then he's like, am I gonna go psycho? And he's like, there's a distinct possibility.
I actually heard a rumor that Donald Sutherland was actually the only reason why that movie was made. If he didn't sign on, they weren't going to greenlight it, and they needed a big name. There wasn't a
There's actually another really funny aspect to that. What you just said is that he was so unsure of the success or the possible success of this movie that he was offered royalty rights, which means he could have been paid millions of dollars. Instead, he decided, because he didn't believe this movie was going to do anything, he decided to take like a lump sum of like $75,000 and just went with that, and that was it. But it just goes to show that after the years of the popularity of this movie, that it ended up like he could have been paid nearly $3 to $4 million for this, and at that time it was like $3 or $4 million would have been a fucking substantial amount of cash.
Well, right now it's a substantial amount of cash.
Even now, yeah, but still.
Which makes me kind of want. I mean, I know it was successful back in the day, but I wonder how much of that royalties comes from now that it's a cult classic, and it's like you could go to Best Buy like Chris did and buy it easily. Yeah.
For $7.50.
It's pretty much in the dollar bin. If you want to get a Blu-ray, it's a couple more dollars.
Yeah.
It's a $7 bin.
Yeah.
Can you answer me this though? Because growing up, of course, you watch Blues Brothers, you enjoy it. I didn't really watch Saturday Night Live then. Jim Belushi, to me,
John.
See, that's exactly the point.
Yeah.
He's funny, and I enjoyed him, and his facial expressions were hilarious.
Yeah.
And he was really fun. I really liked his character in the movie.
Yeah.
But I remember thinking, man, I really thought he was going to be better. John Belushi was going to be. I was kind of disappointed. I don't have any reference to John Belushi whatsoever.
Like the movie.
I love Jim Belushi. Shout out Jim Belushi.
John Belushi is, he's. I mean, I'm sure you could make the connection if you haven't heard. He's like the main influence on Chris Farley.
Totally.
Yeah.
His facial
Definitely.
expressions were perfect.
Yeah.
And he was the bumbling, smashes the guitar against the wall. Funny.
Which, by the way, was an imposed scene.
Really,
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Like the guitarist didn't know it. Neither did the people.
You
who
can kind of tell by their facial expressions. They were kind of covering a little more wary than they would if.
That's actually another funny little part about that is that actually that scene was actually the only damage to that frat house was that scene, and the frat actually framed that point.
Because
John Belushi on it.
John Belushi was famous at that
Oh,
point.
yeah.
He was on SNL and
Yeah, but that's really all SNL was the only thing. I mean,
But that was
big.
but that was
He
big time.
Yeah, for sure. But that was his first movie.
Oh yeah. Well, and I mean, but his comedy, I think, like this movie, is kind of like the first of its kind, you know? So it's like John Belushi doesn't seem as funny as he was back then to like us now because he's inspired so many generations of these physical comedians.
Right.
So it's like when I watch it, I'm like, this is what my parents were always like, oh, when I was like a kid, like, this is the most hilarious guy you'll ever see, you know? Like, and it's sad that he died or whatever, but in between then and now, there's been all these just amazingly, you know, similar comics or whatever, and it kind of waters down what he does because he wasn't, you know, his span was like 4 or 5 years, you know? That's it.
Yeah, no,
And then
he was young.
Yeah, it's crazy. But that entire scene, start to finish, with he's going down the line of the cafeteria, picking up food and putting it on his tray, you know, and like wolfing down the Jello and shit.
Oh man,
That's all improvised. And then even the
whole thing,
the zit scene, like that is an improvised scene.
They had no idea what was coming.
Yeah, like when he spit all over the people in the booth, like they didn't realize.
All genuine responses to that.
My least favorite scene and my favorite scene are both John Belushi. And my favorite scene is a quick scene you wouldn't even notice if you blinked your eyes, but someone throws him a beer.
He catches
he catches that beer.
It's amazing.
And it's so freaking. I hope they did it in one take. I'm sure they didn't.
The best part of it is that another one flies above his head, and it's just like, you know, it's like that's how like
no
fast
reaction.
They were coming.
Like no reaction.
It was so funny. And then, but I hated the freaking ladder scene. The ladder scene was so when he's looking in the.
Yeah.
I mean, the woman is very attractive. The ladder part is just so because. I mean, the physics of jumping on a ladder move, and he's making so much noise, and this girl's staring at the window, but like, she can't see this guy looking in the window, and it was, you know, like that part was, okay, well, this is kind of creepy, and it's not really funny to me, and it doesn't make sense.
Well,
I like that, because actually that was one of my favorite scenes. So I enjoyed it.
Really? Okay, so there you go, yeah. It was funny when it first started, but...
Because that scene particularly has been rehashed by so many other, like, you know, Family Guy's done it, a whole lot of other movies have related that scene to other aspects of different movies per se in different ways, but for some reason, I mean, I love that scene so much, and I love the fact that they're playing it off like he's getting to indulge himself in something that, like, you only dream that you could do that, you know?
I mean, I like how we're not even talking about the fact that, like, who the fuck has a ladder, like, in the
he runs out to the
just in the bushes, you know?
And on top of that,
let alone an extension ladder.
we're not talking about how John Belushi's apparently invisible because he's literally, like, I mean, she's staring at him the entire time.
Like she was doing it for him, which made it okay to watch. It's not that creepy if she's, you know, no, it was terribly creepy.
Although I think it is funny though, like at that point where it's getting to the point where it's like, how is she not seeing him? And then he like turns around at the camera and he's like wiggles his eyebrows.
Yeah.
It would have been great if she like just threw him a little look. She's like, "Oh, you're there,"
She
you know, or
she knew it the whole time.
She's like, "Here's my boobs." But
all right, I'm gonna ask you a little question that's kind of like an insider question. Maybe the wives and girlfriends turn the podcast off for a minute. Is it just me, or are the women of 78/79 a little more attractive than the women of 2016/2017?
Because they're more real.
I don't know what it is. I mean, I don't know why.
If you're talking about like who they prop up as being beautiful these days, then yeah, I know what you mean. Like,
It was just different. I mean, it was just it was interesting watching a movie, seeing kind of the girls get objectified, not kind of the girls got a, you know, whatever.
Well,
but
I mean, or like titty scenes with real titties.
it was different. It's different to see. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I wanted to comment on that. It's nice to rehash these movies and go back and watch older movies that have a different sense. There was a different sense. It was a different time then. You know, as far as the pot scene where they lock the doors, I thought that was funny maybe, but at the same time I thought that's an interesting aspect of the time.
A great scene actually that makes a lot of sense of what you're talking about is the scene when I think it's Dougie, but I'm not really sure what his real name is, but when he's sitting in the car and being jacked off by his girlfriend and she's wearing a rubber glove.
Yeah.
And she's jacking him off.
Greg
in the
likes
car.
his hand jobs sanitary, apparently.
Yeah, apparently.
Never explained
and
anything
that's
about that.
That's just a product of the time where sex is probably kind of maybe frowned upon in a sense, or I'm not saying that's what it was, but it's like,
is it supposed to be this soft?
yeah, right.
Like, no, lady. It's not supposed to be.
My mind is drifting. I'm not in the moment right now.
Well, I mean, I think that's like probably like an exaggeration off of. Some people probably did that, but it wasn't as common. But I think they're just like painting a picture of the 50s preppy, you know, and because the whole time you don't know it until it's like the last hand job scene when she's just like, you know what, and like peels it off, and you're like, what? She's wearing a fucking glove?
Exactly.
Like, why?
So I go back to my previous question and say, well, is it because they're the 60s ladies? Because you're right, it was based in the 60s, right? Not
It was based
it was
in the
made
60s.
made in 78, but
Yeah.
it was not
It was
based
1962.
based
Yeah,
later on.
Yeah, there was
Or
definitely.
earlier
I
on.
think there was definitely that like post World War II kind of like charm school, pretentious. You know.
Yeah, there was still
like,
segregation was a thing.
Product of the baby boomers.
Yeah.
Kind of. I mean, a little bit maybe.
Yeah.
But.
But they did a good job of dating this movie. Like everything. I mean, I don't know. I didn't live back in the '60s, but
Right.
you know, when I watched it the other night, I'm like, and I even read how they had all the actors go get haircuts from this like really good barber, I guess, who made a bunch of time period haircuts for them because their the hair in this movie all looks pretty old school, and but yeah, like everything about it is seems time period appropriate, like
Oh,
you don't
definitely.
really see any flaws in that.
Well, yeah, and it's. I don't know. For some reason, I just really because I grew up with this movie and it always clicked with me for some weird reason, and that's all I got.
All right, guys. So how about this? If you would you recommend this movie to a woman, say your girlfriend, your wife, any women out there? Is this something that you would recommend? Say, hey, a lot of movies we watch, you can actually say, hey, this is a pretty good movie. In my man opinion, I think a woman would like this movie. What would you say? Because I would say there isn't a lot of redeeming qualities in this movie for a woman, as far as that stuff kind of goes. I mean, obviously, there's the boobs faction. It's a guy movie. It's as a guy movie should be. It's not it's National Lampoon. It's a funny movie.
Right.
But there wasn't, as far as movies go, and maybe that was something at the time. The women were kind of they were ditzy, stupid, and naked most of the time.
Yeah.
The strongest-
besides the main woman, which I don't remember her name. Katie,
Yes.
which and at the same time she was
Karen
cheating on.
Allen.
She was cheating on.
Yeah, she liked that
so it was
Professor
like,
Dick.
Yeah, so it was like there was not a lot of redeeming qualities for any. I just can see where if you're a woman watch this movie, you wouldn't really enjoy it.
To be honest, there's not really very many redeeming qualities for anybody because this is not a movie that anybody really learns a life lesson.
That's true. Redeeming
There's no
qualities is a
life
weird word for
lesson
sure.
that's learned in this movie. You make terrible decisions the entire movie, and then when shit goes bad, all you do is what do? We get revenge.
That's true. It's not that type of movie.
It's not. Movie really is a fun movie. So yes, I mean to your question, I would definitely recommend this to any girl, my wife,
with a sense of humor.
Exactly. But you would have to probably say, this movie is fucked in many
It is
ways,
pretty
but
fun.
great
I mean,
in so many ways.
They kill a horse.
Yeah.
Yes, they
which is
do.
interesting.
But on accident. So it's not like
it's not as
it's not
bad.
like it was
Do
a
they kill it?
purposeful.
Do they kill it or they just freeze it in time? I can't.
It depends. and now we're watching Harry Potter, which it makes it easier to.
Yeah.
No, it was.
I will say, I mean, my wife has a love-hate relationship with this movie. Like she likes it because of the reasons I like it, but she hates it for her with her feministic,
Right.
views.
Right.
Because like you're right. It's like they, like all of the snobby girls are dumb, and then like the one strong female character is like still kind of a doormat for her boyfriend that she loves. You
Right.
know, like she's like throwing herself at the frat I don't know, serve drinks.
My girlfriend loved it for the same reason, Jason. I mean, she grew up on it, and
Right.
her dad watched it with her. She's young, I guess.
Oh,
and-
Well, that's another thing is like my wife never
Her
saw
family-
it until I
her
showed
family
it to
was-
her. Like
Oh, okay.
I grew up on it, she didn't. When I
Yep.
showed it to her when we were like in our late 20s, she's all like, "Yeah, that's okay." Kind of like you're that movie's okay,
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know why you like it so much.
Yeah, she's a family of brothers, and that's what they
Yeah.
watch that, and that's if you grew up on it, that's awesome. But
this movie is still very much so relevant in a way. I mean, just because it's made in the 70s but perceived to be in the 60s, it's influenced so much. And even though, I mean, the soundtrack is even still relevant.
yeah,
You listen to the music in the soundtrack, I still listen to that fucking music still to this day.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's not relevant. It's Very
Yeah,
influential.
great soundtrack for sure.
Yeah, it's one of the better soundtracks for one of these type of movies that I've probably ever really listened to.
The band Otis Day and the Knights,
Yes.
the lead singer was originally, his name is Dwayne Jesse.
Right,
Exactly.
so
But
popular.
the success of the movie
Yes.
drove him to change his name to Otis Day and then start
Yes.
a band with
Yes.
the Knights.
I watched
Dwayne
it. I watched
Jesse.
it not knowing that, and I was like, "Oh, Otis Day. That's a decent name."
His name
That
should
shout
be
song
Otis
was
Day.
500 minutes. A couple of critiques I do have. I will say it ran a little long for me. If we're talking about actual movies, there was a lot of extra. I felt like it was funny parts, but okay. Other than that,
it was an hour and 41 minutes. And you're right.
It
for
just
like a
felt-
comedic movie,
felt long.
yeah,
it
it
was
felt
a
like
long
there
movie.
was there was things that they did that were funny, and there's things that like all movies. And it was a National Lampoon movie. As a movie buff, do you know where in the sequence of movies this National Lampoon was?
Is the first.
Was it the
Yes,
first one
yeah.
they made?
This is the first National
Interesting. So that
Lampoon's
it kicked off. You know,
Yeah.
a couple of my
Pretty good
favorite
bang.
movies. You know, yeah.
Kicked
So
it off with
Yeah.
a good bang.
and that was really my only critique was that it was really it was really long. I mean, you're gonna hit with jokes, you're gonna miss with jokes. It was a different time. It
Yeah.
was different. You know, there was the racial stuff within the bar. With the black guys and the you know
Yeah.
still in the white
Can we
girls
dance with you
and the
dates?
white guys just left. They didn't
Yeah,
even
yeah.
like fuck the white girls. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
And that was it's just a that's okay. So it's a different,
And then-
different time. So
I think this is the part that annoyed my wife the most. I don't want to go too into it, but it was that scene when Otter was making out with the girl and she had her shirt off, and then the guys came in. And
Just
she just like
fucked
jumped
it
out
up.
and then like jumped into the car. Like
Yeah.
they just abandoned the shit out of him. And then as they're walking home, that girl is still like, "Oh,
Yeah,
I
totally.
thought he was really nice."
yeah,
And my wife,
Totally
my
defending-
wife was just like
defending the
"What
shit out of
fuck?"
him. Yeah, that's funny.
So yeah, but that scene was super controversial studio wise. The studio did not like the idea of them going to a quote unquote like Negro bar and
Yes.
having an altercation and running away from it
Yes.
and they had Richard Pryor actually come in. I think it was John Landis had him come in and screen the movie, and Richard Pryor was just like, "This movie's funny as shit,"
Don't change a shit
Yeah,
dime.
don't change anything.
Anything.
That's awesome.
Yes.
So real fast, we do this once episode. I have to do it. We're gonna walk over. We're gonna knock on Alan Alda's door real fast. I just want to know his opinion of Animal House. I know he had a big part in MASH, not Animal House, but he was popular. So I want to know his opinion. Hold on a second. Let's walk over there real quick. We're just gonna give it a Alan.
Hey guys.
Hey, I wanted things are coming out. I wanted to know what did you think about Animal? Did you see Animal House?
Animal House? Yeah, I saw Animal House back in the day. When we were filming MASH, Animal House was kind of the competing comedy on the movie scene for, when we did the MASH series, there was a lot of want to do movies like that were that funny. And
I don't want to interrupt you. I went on Netflix. You say this all the time. I went on Netflix the other day, and actually, it's actually a drama. MASH isn't considered a comedy. You've said this before. It's not the best comedy ever made, Alan. It's not. I don't think it's a comedy. I watched it a couple times. There was more drama than anything. Anyways,
with all due respect, Chris, suicide isn't easy, and that's a funny line when you think about it. When it comes down to it, MASH was really a comedy.
Anyways, did you like it?
Did I like MASH or Animal House?
We know you liked MASH. Did you like Animal House?
Animal House is a great movie. I think they really took the pedestal that we set up for them and went off with
just
it.
get that. He's taking credit again. Jason, let's go.
Was that MASH or MASH?
We're talking about MASH here, Jason.
I was confused. I thought we were talking about MASH.
All right, Alan. Thanks. Just go back and go.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to go back into my cupboard over there. You guys let me know when you need me again, okay?
All right.
Bye.
Going back to Narnia. Perfect.
Thanks, Alan. That guy's
Well, before we sign off on this movie, I received some emails from my connection who's got some of these secret outtakes.
Oh.
And this first one that I'm gonna drop for you guys on the first episode involves a movie from the '90s called First Night, starring Sean Connery.
I've been asking you for a couple first night. I've been asking you for those outtakes for a while. This is awesome.
They were hard to find, Chris, but I came through.
I'm excited.
And it's typical Connery. I mean, you hear the guy's a bit of a hard ass. So, yeah, anyway, this is basically just a little bit of an outtake, audible.
I heard these are all right. Cool.
Most excellent.
All right, John. From the top. Okay. I was just a boy when I first walked up this hill to see those. Okay. One more time. All right.
Okay, from the top.
Seriously. I was just a boy when I first walked up this hill to see what would soon become my city. I named it Camelot.
Cut. Wait.
What?
It's Camelot.
I said Camelot.
Not Camelot.
What do you mean, Camelot?
All right, let's do another take.
For fuck's sake, okay, one more time. We'll get it this time, I'll beat you. I was just a boy when I first walked up this hill to see what would soon become my city. I named it Camelot. You motherfucker.
Cut. Okay.
You can take your Americanized King Arthur story and your overpaid American Lancelot and shove it up your... For all I fucking care, this picture could tank. They'll still be taking the lead actress back to my trailer to her. And you, director, will still be sucking my and cradling my on a daily basis. Connery, out.
Well,
So, yeah, I mean, as you can see, he's...
he gets a little pissed off.
Yeah, you know, I don't know if he's butthurt because Richard Gere was getting paid more, or if it was because Richard Gere had the love interest, you know, which was Guinevere, his wife.
Yeah. And Camelot is a hard word to say. It is a
Well,
it's an American version of a wonderful story.
and
So
somebody like
it's hard.
Connery, he comes a lot. You know?
I was like, what? He's like, I don't. He asked a question like he didn't understand it. So
I've heard he's had the goldest finger out there.
Oh boy.
terrible.
So,
I don't know. In shows like, I mean, the rehash shows, it's probably pointless to do like a rating system. I mean, you guys, these are all some of our favorite movies.
Yeah.
I mean, if Jason chose this movie, I will say thank you for choosing this movie. I said it before, I liked it. Give it a 4.5 out of 5 for being original, funny.
I'm just glad it wasn't out of 10.
There was a lot of sexy boobs. If it was out of 10, I'm gonna give it what's 4.5 and a 9. I'll give it a 9 out of 10.
Ooh,
Let's do a 10 rating system. That way we can get really technical and stupid shit.
We can, yeah.
You know,
no, I'll give it.
I'd have to say, if we were doing a rating system, because I grew up with the movie, I'm not going to say a 10 because it's not a 10. You know, it's like 9.2 for me.
Yeah.
You know, I grew up with it. It's a very watchable movie.
A lot of
if
really
you
attractive
haven't
boobs.
watched this fucking movie, go out and fucking watch this movie.
Yeah.
Also, sorry about the spoilers.
Yeah. I guess we should lead in with
That
that.
might be something to start
This
with.
is a rehash, by
Yeah,
the way.
this is a rehash. It was like 1978. So if you haven't fucking watched this movie,
And if you're, under the age of 20, if you were born in the 21st century, we'll cut you some slack. But really, go see those movies. Especially, I mean, Animal House. If you've seen American Pie and you haven't seen Animal House, if you've seen National Lampoon's...
That's a good point. Let's do that. Let's do couple movies that you would equate this movie to. A couple movies that you would compare this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say my movies exactly are. If you haven't seen, damn it.
well, Van Wilder would be one.
Yeah, Van
Wilder was
that
kind of like a remake.
And it- yeah,
It's a ridiculous
Because he was-
rehash of this, basically.
because he was actually in that. He was the dad in that. He was
Tom Matheson.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He was Van Wilder's
Otter.
dad.
Which was kind of fun. I mean, like that. If you'd seen Animal House, it was like, oh shit, okay, that I could totally see Otter's son being.
Would you just a quick question, because I'm kind of reliving the whole world here. Would you consider this is an old movie though? Would you consider Porky's one of those falling in the same category style?
Because Porky's was like 1980 or 81.
Yeah,
it was definitely like on the wave.
Just ridiculous,
Yeah.
This movie had more. I guess the parts were a little funnier. The actions.
Well, I'm not saying Porky's was a great movie.
Yeah.
I'm just saying general. I mean, there was
You could lump
I see
Porky's
what
into
you're
the
saying.
same genre.
You can.
Yeah. Well, I
You
mean,
can.
Porky's is terrible, but at the same time,
Hey,
there was like
Porky's
some
is
fun.
not that
There was a
bad.
couple
Some
scenes
fun
that were
shit.
fun. I didn't
Yeah,
like Porky.
yeah,
There was
yeah.
a couple scenes that were
Absolutely. Was there any other like ridiculous fun facts about this movie?
Well, when John Belushi's chugging that bottle of Jack, it's indeed iced tea.
Yeah.
And that had a lot more to do with the fact that kind of the obligation of Ivan Reitman and John Landis was to keep Belushi under control.
Yes.
Because he had,
he did have
well-known addiction problems and alcohol problems.
Yeah.
So they set him up in a place miles away from like the hotel where the entire cast was, and like they purposely like put all the cast, like the Deltas, together to like get them to bond, and kind of like develop a frat mentality. Mm-hmm. But they kept Belushi far away, and he would also go weekly back to New York to do SNL.
Yeah.
But,
I heard he did like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday filmed the movie, and then the rest of the weekend the week he was in New York for SNL. It's pretty.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not surprising that, I mean, it would probably be Ice-T for anybody, but like that's just a way to connect the dots. Like they were, like, and apparently Belushi was on board. He was like, yes, I see this as like a serious career opportunity, and he was into it, so he stayed sober.
Well, I have a couple actually now that I remember.
Oh my God, this beer gets worse.
We'll stop drinking.
Yeah, right. Stop drinking that.
You know D-Day, right? So
Yeah,
D-Day.
Well, I know. Are you talking about the Aykroyd thing?
Yes, actually.
Yeah.
Nice. Very good.
Yeah.
Originally, D-Day was written for Dan Aykroyd.
Right.
And since actually it was
Lorne Michaels.
Lorne Michaels actually said that if he took this part, he would get fired from SNL at the time. So he obviously did not take the part, even though it was written for him because of his love for motorcycles. Mm-hmm. And the opening scene with D-Day, you can obviously tell that nothing like blasting up the stairs on a Harley.
Except for Dan Aykroyd couldn't play that song on his throat.
No, probably
that
not.
was awesome.
Yeah, probably not. I think that was Bruce McGill's audition.
Yeah,
that sold him for the part. If you don't know who Bruce McGill is, maybe Wyatt would know, but I was a huge fan of MacGyver, and that's where I remember. He's been in countless of other things, but I remember him from MacGyver for sure as Jack Dalton.
Really?
Yes.
Name drop.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had to. D-Day. If you watch the other part that
I did not.
Yes.
The behind the scenes thing.
Yeah, the behind the scenes thing of Animal House with the Delta alumni review or the update of where they are. It's pretty good. So if you haven't, if you never watched that, please do.
I do like at the end how they have like where are they now things for no.
Yeah.
Like it's a true story thing. That's kind of funny.
Well, yeah, and that's exactly what was the best part about it because it was taken as the perspective of that and Bluto and I can't remember her name, Babs, I think, and he ended up becoming president of the United States and. It was quite good.
And the doofus Greg is like a member of the Nixon administration.
Yeah, that's funny. I like that.
I'm just gonna start to kind of bash some things about this movie because I don't know if this is stuff that is just like the dated nature of this movie, or if this is just like swinger. I don't know. But did anybody else notice that which is first of all weird, and it probably wasn't as weird back then, but like when Boone. And Otter's getting ready, up in his room, and Boone's like there, like sitting, like watching him,
got his shirt off and
and wearing like a skirt. Did anybody notice this?
I thought it was a towel, but it was a skirt.
No, he walks over, and like he unhooks something, and it's just like comes off him like a skirt. And I was like, I wrote it down. I was like, was that a fucking skirt? and it's just like kind of like I'm like. Dude, guys don't do that anymore. Like, let alone they don't sit. Maybe you guys did, but I didn't. I didn't sit in any of my friends' room when they were even with just a towel on, sitting there getting ready, and you're just.
But that was a dorm room.
Well, no, it wasn't a dorm room. It was a frat house.
But they shared room. No, maybe.
No, it was just Otter's room.
And that's what I mean.
That's right, because
it was literally Quagmire's house. In his dorm room was Quagmire's house.
Totally.
He had the blinky lights. The only thing we didn't have was the rotating bed.
He might have. Maybe.
It could have. Yeah, he never turned it on, so you don't know. But
by the way, I'll admit right now, when Otter's hitting on Wormer's wife.
Yes.
Dude, she was a smoke show for a minute there to me. I'm like, when he was when she was in his room with lingerie, I was like. Dang,
okay.
Dude. I don't know. Maybe it was like one of those things, like the curvy nature of women back then.
The little lion in you. You're like, yeah.
Yeah, but I thought it was.
I know why you guys like this movie had a bunch of boobies. That's why you fuckers like this movie.
I do
think
think
we always like.
It's a bunch of boobies.
I do think that scene.
No
That scene is hilarious though when he's like charming her and like got the the music going in his room, and he's like throwing the ice cubes in the glass and mixing. Like it's so perfect. It's like trying to be smooth when you're drunk, and you're just like
Quagmire.
Well, Quagmire probably did. Like, did Family Guy do literally a scene like that? Like,
I've seen enough.
If they haven't, they should.
I've seen enough Family Guy. I mean, basically,
has,
yes. But anyway,
might as well.
But seriously, though,
a couple things like I heard the writer of Animal House was actually in the movie. He was the weird frat guy that was in their frat. He was kind of the weird. I forget what he has a famous line in the movie. I can't remember what he said.
You mean like? Do you mean like the weird guy like Stork?
Yes, exactly.
The guy that's like.
Yeah.
Oh, what are you, a moron?
Exactly. That's a famous line. He actually wrote the movie, which
really?
I thought that was interesting.
Wasn't he the guy?
He's the guy leading
the band. Yeah, pushes that fucker out of the way and then leads him down a fucking alley. Yeah,
and he's a weird looking guy.
Funny thing about that,
Beaker from the Muppets.
What?
The interesting thing about that gentleman is he actually wrote Caddyshack, and then Caddyshack was getting such bad reviews as far as what he wrote. He actually killed himself. So that guy he did 2 movies. Caddyshack was one of them.
Really?
And this was Animal House as well. So
that's actually pretty fucked.
That's
pretty messed up. Pretty messed up. He did they were both really funny movies. So
they were
wanted
great.
to throw it out there and give a little shout out to Wyatt's going to give us his name here.
Douglas Kenny.
Yeah.
Does that sound familiar?
It does. I mean, Kenny sounds familiar for sure.
It says he died on August 27th, 1980. That sounds right around when Caddyshack came out.
Yeah, that sucks.
Just wanted to shout that out. Another
Caddyshack writer, totally. That's him, Douglas Kenny.
Yep. Another interesting thing. They actually, I think they wanted a couple Saturday Night Live members because Chevy Chase is actually in the running to actually play.
They wanted Bill Murray and Chevy Chase to play. They wanted them to be the two Otter and Boone.
Right. Which in my opinion, I love them both, and it was a different time then. But I don't think it would have been as funny. I really don't. And two,
and they
I don't
hated
think
each
Tristan's
other.
Vacation would have came out, or Vacation would have came out.
True. Vacation may end up coming out, but they never would have worked together anyway. Like Bill Murray and Chevy Chase.
Just in real life semantics, they didn't like each other.
Caddyshack when they
never had any scenes together.
Yeah.
Well,
in Caddyshack, the only scene they ever have together, aside from a little SNL stuff, is in Caddyshack when it's.
I didn't know that. I hadn't heard.
Yeah, they did not like each other.
Look into that. They have
actually, I've heard Chevy Chase is kind of a dick.
Yeah,
so.
And Bill Murray is
hard to work with.
A poke the bear type of guy.
Yeah,
so
he's interesting.
Basically, I just imagine he fucked with Chevy Chase a lot.
You build up your life. I've heard nothing but great things about Bill Murray and nothing but terrible things about Chevy Chase when it comes to.
Wouldn't you not want to fuck with somebody who just doesn't want to be fucked with?
Well, yeah,
it's like part of human nature. I mean, I'm gonna
Especially
poke the bear
when you're a master fuck with her too.
Yeah.
Chevy Chase had to be.
You gotta do
just
it.
a dick.
Yeah.
It's like the code. Don't be a dick. I'm gonna fuck with you. I will. Yeah, I'm gonna bring it. So, well, that's excellent. So, I mean, what do we got?
Yeah, great movie. Good job.
It was great. So, I think we're pretty much gonna close this out with the Dirty Minute. So, enjoy while we go out and get some drinks. So,
hey, look forward to Wyatt's pick next week. I'm excited about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
What do we pick?
Yeah. What are we doing?
We're dropping another classic from the '70s. We're going with Jaws.
Oh, keep it in old school.
Excellent.
I like
all right.
Movie.
Later, y'all.
Laters.
Hey, are you a magician?
No.
Because whenever I look at you, everyone else disappears.
Fuck off.
Okay. I'm no weatherman, but you can expect a few inches tonight.
Fuck off.
Fine. Yep, that's the stuff. Hey, my dick just died. You mind if I bury it in your ass? Shit,
Fuck
woman.
off.
Fine, I'll just bury it in the peanuts then. Fucking peanuts.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening to Cinema Stash Rehash. Be sure to give us some awesome iTunes reviews, like us on Facebook. Don't forget to check out past episodes and join us next time on Cinema Stash Rehash.